All right, Justin Spears here with the Hoosier Legends Weekly Podcast. We are in our series on previewing the upcoming girls basketball season, and we are joined right now by Beech Grove head coach Amy Selk. Coach, thank you for taking time to join us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat hoops.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of wanted to start off by talking a little bit about the transition into the Hoosier Legends Conference. You guys are, part of this new conference here. It's bringing, different rivalries and competition level looks really great. I was doing some research over the course of the week, and my goodness, last year was a really competitive year. In your previous conference, Indiana Crossroads, is that what the conference was? And we were part of the Sagamore and looked at the 6-1 record for the top three teams coming from that are in the Hoosier Legends now. So talk to us a little bit about what you expect to see in Hoosier Legends girls basketball this season.
Yeah, we're excited to be a part of the Hoosier Legends. It's going to be a grind. I can tell you that much. Adding is always a girls basketball powerhouse. Coach Ferris is doing an awesome job building it from the ground up. Triton Central was in the ICC and Monrovia. All two schools or programs who tied with us last year in our conference. But also adding in Tri-West and Shelbyville, Greenwood. I think, a fan base from a competition level, from a stadium or kind of a home gymnasium. We're really excited to be a part of something more challenging. A lot of talented athletes. So yeah, we're very excited.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk a little bit as you get things underway tonight. Officially, we were just talking off air a little bit about those first couple of weeks where you're getting through tryouts and practices, and you've got your eye on this first contest where you get to put it all together here. Talk to us a little bit about what those first couple of weeks have been like for you in the program.
Yeah, it's you couple maybe like 7 ready for scrimmage, probably about 2 weeks for your first game. So you have your tryouts, if you want to implement new offense, defense for your personnel that's returning or personnel that transferred. You have your player gear distribution, parents meeting, teams, student athlete meeting, like just a team meeting in general, trying to make sure that, you understand you're part of something more than yourself. So, just trying to get all of those things kind of polished, understanding the expectation from a parent, the standard that we ask for the student athlete, and then from a coaching staff, just kind of getting them conditioned. We're still trying to get that condition under our belt. But yeah, just implementing just new offense and defense, I think. It's a lot. We play tonight, so it's not going to be perfect. I just hope that we play very hard and we just limit our turnovers and just play hard.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say are your goals for the team this year? Maybe both like short term, long term. What are you kind of looking for? We always try to break the season up a little bit. I felt like when I coached basketball and get our kids to buy in on, all right, this quarter of the season, we're trying to get this done and so on. So talk to us a little bit about maybe what you try to instill into the ladies about goals that you're trying to accomplish this year.
Yeah, so it is, girls basketball during the winter is 4 months, very long.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to break it up into 4 quarters, roughly 5 or 6 quarter. So we really dissect it. You got 5 or 6 games, do the best you can there. And then we move, then it's, quarter one's over with. Then you go right into your Christmas break. That's halftime. So just kind of seeing a smaller picture. Because you can get kind of lost in the sauce with the grind and the winter months and getting after it every day. So I think for a goal, we lost 5 seniors last year who have been with me as they were freshmen. We lost Miley. So we're gonna have some new faces. Harper Moore is back. So she's a junior for us, very talented athlete, but she was injured her sophomore season with her ankle injury. Um, but just from a goal standpoint, is finding a way to trust each other, to play for one another, um, and then just kind of letting it all like come together. Um, wins and losses. Everyone wants to be about 500. I just want to compete every day. Um, even if they're tired and sore and sick, I want to find it out with them. And these past 2 weeks, yes, it's been overwhelming and trying to cross your T's and dot your I's and get polished up before your game. But also, we've been having a lot of fun. Um, and, I was actually listening to a podcast with Matt Painter at Purdue, and, he was just talking about how much fun he has with this year. So kind of just enjoying being around them, enjoying the grind and the process with them, and just asking them to be coachable.
Mm-hmm.
It's always not butterflies and rainbows, but just trying the best we can day in day out, and looking to compete for a sectional championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. Love that. So you mentioned obviously the turnover, some new faces, some young faces that'll be coming in, people stepping up to take roles. Talk to us a little bit about who you're going to lean into this season. Who can we kind of look for on the court, and what do you see some of the different roles being played on the team with the roster that you have this season?
Yeah, so unfortunately, we do not have any seniors on our roster. My junior class is very talented and very athletic. So from a junior standpoint, we have Harper Moore, who, as I mentioned earlier, just a freak of an athlete, high motor, a true competitor. So very excited to have her back on the basketball floor. And then we have a couple returners. Lila Muffler Chalice has played very significant minutes at the varsity level. She's also a junior, and we're looking for her to shoot the basketball a little bit more and shoot with confidence. And then we do have a transfer. She came in over Franklin Central, Olivia Stowers. So she's a part of that junior class. So she brings, a nice size and some versatility. She can play on the perimeter. She can have her back to the basket. So very excited to add that piece. And then kind of who came out of the woodwork this past AAU season, the spring, summer, has been Harmony Burks. She is a sophomore for us. So, excited. She saw a little bit of the varsity floor as a freshman. Really came into her own this off season, just getting in the gym, and she's been with Spider Elite. But she's a rebounding machine. She also has a very high motor. If we get it out in open space, she's looking to go downhill. So just seeing all those different pieces, and again, new people, new varsity squad. Only returning maybe two, Layla Cranfield and Lila Muffler Chalice. But we do have some experience, just not a lot at that varsity level. Mm-hmm. So in a nutshell, very young. Also looking to see the varsity floor is Sage Yearly. She's a freshman. She's very, she's not scared. So very excited to kind of see how she turns out and develops. And then Samara Turner is also a freshman for us. And she's very athletic, very speedy. So from a defensive standpoint, active hands, active motor, being ball hungry. So again, it's going to be completely new. Change is not always, I'm not a big fan of change. But, as to be a good coach for your program, you have to make sure you change and kind of develop and implement things that work well for your personnel. So I think my staff and myself have really done that. And, tonight will be kind of the first look at, the new team for Beech Grove here for basketball.
Oh, that's awesome. So to kind of wrap up, you mentioned that kind of newness, a lot of change, turnover, some pieces, transfer, some kids trying to step up as freshmen. How do you go about building team chemistry? When you have that many new faces and getting kids to maybe accept roles that maybe they haven't been in before. What are some things that you do from a coaching perspective to try to build that chemistry and make them a cohesive unit on the court?
Yes. What we noticed, and I can't even take any credit for this, they have been doing TikTok. I don't have TikTok. I don't run it. My assistant coaches kind of took over, and they have been running with it. Um, so they have an iPad. They get in the gym. There's a question of the day. They add like positive sayings, little clips here and there. But as my coaches run it and take off with it, it's really cool to actually see, who they're doing the TikTok with, who they're, you got juniors with freshmen, you got sophomores, you got our managers involved. So I think that really has opened my eyes to like, all right, social media, that's a positive. Thank you for bringing them together. Um, that's just TikTok is just kind of their way to do life. Um, and another thing from like just a team bonding or team chemistry is, just trying to have different events each month where we're together outside the lines.
Mm.
So whether we had great costumes. So the coaches were, what were the coaches? I can't think of it right now. But great costumes and pumpkin painting and food. And, they wanted Christmas music. Come November, trying to go to like a college game, or maybe do some type of community service project. And then your December, your party. So again, things that, as a staff, we kind of take a look at the calendar and try to plan or organize these different events that work best for our schedule. Because really the team camaraderie and like to be together and like being around each other, that's very important. So really excited to see that growth so far. But I think the biggest thing is like when you're faced through adversity, right? When you face through all the challenges, and hardships, how will we react? Are we gonna, yell at each other, or are we gonna pick each other up and support one another and be positive, play mentality?
Right.
So hopefully, instilling these TikToks or just seeing them together, like creating that bond early on, can definitely help fight through that adversity.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I know, from the first communication that you and I had, you had mentioned that you're trying to show the student athletes in a positive light, and following you on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now. I can see that, and that shines through a lot, and that means a lot. You're developing young women, and to be able to give them those experiences and showcase that, along with teaching them the game of basketball and having fun doing what you love doing. I can definitely see that coming through in your program. So I know you guys are going to have success down there with the way that you're doing things. So yeah, thanks for taking time to talk with us today. Like I said, we're trying to with the podcast, obviously promote not just the member schools and the conference itself, but really highlight and give the young men and women who are investing their time and energy into the sports that they're in a spotlight, and give them a platform to be able to showcase the great things that they've done. I know we highlighted the Moore family on the podcast early in this year, where we talked about Bishop and Harper and the great things that they've done and will continue to do. I saw Harper's commitment to produce, so that's awesome there. So we wish you guys the best of luck.
Well, I can't thank you enough for like promoting and marketing girls basketball, the conference, Beech Grove. I think those are all really good things to put on social media and kind of just market and really appreciate the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, best of luck tonight against the Braves, and good luck this season. And we'll hope to catch up with you a little bit later on down the road.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.